Shalom, Kahalo Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shem Kakodash. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS, including the elders that came before them that taught us his truth. And shalom and salutations to all the brothers out pushing the word of truth and its sincerity, the hopeful elect tabernacle of David. My brother Yahshua back with the World War III daily update. We're going to start right here at 2 Corinthians 2 and 11, because you got to know what's actually going on here. All right, so let's start right here at the King James. Lest Satan, right? And I'm not going to say Satan. They're going to say Satan. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. We are not, in the NIV, unaware of his schemes, his evil schemes. We're familiar with, we know. Who is we? The men of the Lord. We search these things out, okay? So that we would not be outwitted by Satan. Who is Satan? Okay, that's these Edomites. All right, who are the Nazis? Okay, who are the people over in the land of Israel calling themselves the Jews? Okay, I thought that the Nazis were killing the Jews. Isn't that what we were told? Okay. We are not unaware of his schemes, his devices. Devices. We all know what goes on in his mind, for we know what his plans are. We are not unaware of his intentions, his purposes, his schemes. Look at this. New Revised Standard Vision. And we do this so that we may not be outwitted by Satan, for we are not ignorant of his designs. What design? Let's look at a few of his designs and see if we can put them together, all right? So this is Mark Felton Productions, right? Azov Battalion, History and Symbols, April 21st, 22, okay? So what is the Azov Battalion? Well, who's holed up in a steel mill over in the Ukraine fighting? Why? Who are those people? Okay? And who's coming to their rescue? Who's giving them money and ammunition and bombs so that they can continue to fight? That would be them. Did Biden not just send to the Ukraine, what was it, 33 billion? Who did he send it to? Who are they sending money and tanks and ammunition? Who are they sending them to? Who is the Azov Battalion? Okay? And it's not just the Azov, it's the entire Ukraine. Okay? Well, let's find out. His designs. We're not ignorant to his designs. Let's look at the designs. Here's the designs right there. What do these things mean?
Recently, I made a video about abandoned German Panther tanks in Belgium, and one in particular caught the attention of many viewers, who left comments expressing surprise at an insignia painted on the vehicle's front. This is that tank, and here we see that symbol, the Wolfsangel, an heraldic device used in this case as the divisional symbol, the 2nd SS Panzer Division Das Reich. But one that is a more modern usage today in the...
That goes back to World War II. That's a World War II tank era. World War II era tank. Right? With that on it. That's the... Well, they're going to bring it all up.
In Ukraine. It is the regimental logo of a Ukrainian National Guard unit called the Azov Battalion. Some weeks ago, I released a video about the World War II Ukrainian SS unit that mutinied in France in 1944 and joined the French resistance, fighting against its former German masters. I raise this because the modern Azov Battalion has been widely accused of perpetuating the symbols associated with Heinrich Himmler's SS. The Azov Battalion is now part of the Ukrainian armed forces fighting the invading Russians. So let's examine the history of the Azov Battalion and the symbols that it has chosen to display. The unit was formed in May 2014, tracing its lineage from a group of football fans called Ultras, because of their fanatical support of the Ukrainian football club Metallist Kharkiv. This group was known as Sect 82 after the year of its founding. In 2014, there was much internal unrest in Ukraine following the Euromaidan movement and revolution, with pro-Russian and anti-government groups demonstrating in the east and south of the country. Sect 82 took over the Kharkiv regional government building, forming an armed self-defense force. When the war in Donbass opened, Ukraine's army suffered several defeats at the hands of Russian-supplied separatists. This caused some Ukrainians to spontaneously form paramilitary volunteer battalions, many of these groups linked to certain political ideologies and movements. In April 2014, these militias received official sanction from the Ukrainian government, and the following month, the Azov Battalion was formed in Berdyansk. The government made it a unit of Special Tasks Patrol Police. The Azov Battalion attracted many members from the Patriot of Ukraine party, whose symbol was the wolf's angle. The wolf's angle, or wolf's hook, is an heraldic symbol used in Germany and France, dating from the medieval period. It first came to prominence as a symbol of personal liberty and independence from oppressors when it was adopted during a peasants' revolt in Germany in the 15th century. However, the symbol was used by the Nazis and became a unit symbol for many SS and army formations, most prominently the aforementioned 2nd SS Panzer Division Das Reich and the Dutch unit, the 34th SS Volunteer Grenadier Division Landsturm Nederland. Precisely because of its wartime associations with the SS and the Nazi Party and its post-war use by some neo-Nazi groups, the Anti-Defamation League lists the wolf's angle as a symbol of hate. In Ukraine, the Azov Battalion entered combat against Russian separatists.
Hold on now. Hold up. What's going on here? Hold on. What's that? That be NATO. Y'all know what that is. What's this? Sprechen Sie Deutsch? What does that mean? Heil who? Okay. What's going on here? Who is America sending money to? Bombs and weapons and support. Now, when this war, when so-called Russia invaded Ukraine, what happened? Well, Americans stood up and started waving Ukrainian flags, right? Blue and yellow flags. And, oh, Ukraine, we stand with Ukraine. We stand, what? You do what? You're doing what? Do you even know what you're doing? I thought Nazi bad. I thought Nazi bad. Okay? Well, when you find out that Israel, the land of Israel, the so-called Jews, are sending as much support as the Americans are to the Nazis, what sense does that make? And it's just the truth. Of course, I'm going to be attacked for telling the truth. But wait a minute, what's really going on though? What's this? I thought that was done away with in World War II. Apparently not. Apparently this thing is stronger than ever, and we are not ignorant of his design. Look at those designs. Okay? What's going on here?
2014 Battle of Mariupol. Fighting alongside regular Ukrainian troops, the Azov Battalion then took part in the Second Battle of Mariupol until a 2015 ceasefire. It's important to note that since 2014, the Azov Battalion now...
Look at the hand signals. Okay? That's a Nazi salute. Sorry. It is what it is. So America's sending billions and billions of dollars to the Nazis. They know exactly who they're funding.
Regiment, as it is called, has been an official part of the Ukrainian armed forces, enrolled in the National Guard, its members receiving a monthly salary. In the present conflict, the Azov have been noted for their role in defending Mariupol, and President Zelensky awarded its commanding officer the highest national honor available, creating him a hero of Ukraine on the 19th of March 2022. Outside observers of this unit, since its inception, have been concerned by the Azov's use of Nazi World War II symbolism, including the Wolfsangel, the Black Sun, and the swastika, which has appeared on members' equipment and red.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Who are you funding? Who are you sending billions of dollars to? Not only the U.S., Israel. Why is Israel sending money and sending troops to fight with them? They are them. The Jews are the Nazis. Figure that one out. Explain that one.
Insignia. This has also been used by Vladimir Putin to attempt to portray his invasion as a measure to denazify Ukraine, and the unit's prominence has been expanded by Russian media, though the unit itself only numbers about 900 men. In 2014, the German television network ZDF shared images of Azov battalion members sporting helmets adorned with swastikas and also SS Zigruns. In this earlier Azov battalion badge, we see the Wolfsangel overlaid over the black sun symbol, derived from the German Sonnenrad, or sun wheel. The wheel consists of 12 radial Zigruns, similar to the lightning runes used by the SS. Reichsfuhrer SS Heinrich Himmler had such a black sun built into the floor of the General's Hall inside Wewelsburg Castle, the spiritual home of the SS. The black sun has been used by many neo-Nazi, far-right and white nationalist groups since the end of the war, and is also associated with occultism and Satanism.
And what ism? Did you say Satan? We are not ignorant of Satan's designs. This is a design of Satan. Satanism. Okay? We're not making this up. This is straight out of the Bible. Okay? These people, these Nazis, are witches that worship Satan. They are Satan. Okay? The Edomites are Satan. All right? Plain and simple.
Sun has been used by many neo-Nazi, far-right and white nationalist groups since the end of the war, and is also associated with occultism and Satanism. However, regarding the Wolfsangel symbol, the Azov battalion states that it represents the Ukrainian words for a united nation, rather than being a symbol consciously borrowed from the Waffen-SS.
Whatever. What else do you need to know? So what's going on over there in that war? What's really going on? Can somebody tell me? Where did that go? Let's read this. The serpent people return to Ukraine. Now, this might be a little inflammatory, but let's just read it, all right? From the early centuries of the first millennia, the Khazars of Eastern Europe, this is Khazaria, all right? Hey, Georgia, Russia. Where are they fighting? Are they fighting right in here? Kiev. This is an ancient map of Khazaria, okay? Russia, if you will, Greater Russia, the Soviet Union. The Byzantine Empire, you see how far back this goes? Paul of Tarsus, and Antioch, Tyre, Ephesus, all right? Athens, Greece, Bulgarian Khanate, all right? The Baltics. Look at this, all right? They're fighting right in here. Khazaria. Who's fighting? This is Khazaria. See the blue line? Okay. Now, back to this. The serpent people returned to Ukraine. From the early centuries of the first millennia, the Khazars of Eastern Europe were known as the diabolical serpent people, and now the nation of Israel has admitted that its people are indeed the Khazars. The admission by the Israelis that the Jews are not related to ancient Israel, but to Khazaria, was reported in the times of Israel. Now, the so-called Jews over there in Israel right now, they are related to ancient Israel. They're the brothers, okay? The Israelis are the Edomites, who are Jacob's brother. You got Edom, you got Esau and Jacob. So they're brothers. They are related. So let's get the whole story straight, all right? But they're not the Jews, okay? According to this, it says, the admission by the Israelis that the Jews are not related to ancient Israel, but to Khazaria was reported in the times of Israel. Okay. Leaked report, Israel acknowledges Jews, in fact, Khazars. Secret plan for reverse migration to Ukraine. March 18, 2014. It's talking about that war. Okay. That article by Professor Jim Wall related that the Israeli leadership in Jerusalem is sending military equipment and settlers, you see this, from Israel to Ukraine. Israeli leadership in Jerusalem is sending military equipment and settlers from Israel to Ukraine. So those Nazis over there, right, are being funded by who? The Jews. Are being armed by the Jews have taken charge of that ravaged country's government and finances and intend eventually to make the Ukraine a second homeland for the Jews. This goes back to 2014. Okay. Their plan, leaked by governmental insiders, came only after Netanyahu and his cabinet reviewing growing DNA genetic evidence that the Jews are not the descendants of Abraham. But they are. Those people over there, the ones calling themselves Jews, they're not Jews, but they are the descendants of Abraham. Okay? The Arabs are the descendants of Abraham. The so-called Japanese, the Chinese, these are the descendants of Abraham. Okay, but not Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The ones calling themselves the Jews are the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Esau. Right? Jacob's brother. So they are the descendants of Abraham. So let's get the whole story straight. Instead, they come from Khazaria, of which Kiev, Ukraine, is the centerpiece. In fact, the Jews of Israel and U.S. are of Ukrainian heritage. They go back to the Khazars. Ukraine is the heartland of Khazaria. So who are those people in the Azov battalion going back to the Wailing Wall and bowing their heads? The Jews are the Nazis. Figure that one out. What? And if not, let's say that they're not. Why are they sending money, military, munitions, bombs to help the Ukrainians? Right here it says that they're doing a reverse migration. And they're taking it back to do what? They intend to eventually make the Ukraine a second homeland for the Jews. Okay? They're over there sending military over there. Israeli Special Forces veterans arrive. What? What? Huh? What's going on? Who's fighting who? Who is who? Over here. Israeli troops fighting in Russia. What's going on? These are Israeli what? Video below from inside Ukraine shows the arrival of Israeli Defense Force troops to fight against Russia. What is going on? What's this? An actual Nazi with a swastika tattoo praying at the Wailing Wall in Israel. What's this on his head? Does this make him a Jew? Isn't this a Jew right here? With this? Can you explain this? An actual Nazi with a swastika. How is a Nazi with a swastika allowed into Israel to pray at the Wailing Wall? Is this not an oxymoron? What's going on here? What's going on? All right, so that's enough. Let's get one scripture on the way out. Oh. Well, let's just read this again. And we do this so that we may not be outwitted by who? Satan, for we are not ignorant of his designs. What design? This design. Where's the hell turning? See that design right there? We're not ignorant of his designs. See this design right here? What is it? Jewish Nazi. Okay, read that again. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Where's his designs at? And we do this so that we may not be outwitted by Satan, for we are not ignorant of his designs. All right? So that's enough. Who are you sending your money? 33 billion? Damn, that would have went a long way right here. What's really going on? All right? So with that, we hope that the elect are edified. There's your World War III daily update. We got one more tomorrow. What shall we do then? All right, we hope that the elect are edified, you brothers and you sisters. And with that, we'll say shalom.